I have no skills in treating men, even if they've shaved their beards. A French gynecologist has just been suspended for turning a trans patient away. A French doctor serving as a gynecologist has just been sanctioned for declaring himself incompetent to treat a man who transitioned to a woman, which has triggered the rage of LGBT associations, guys. And if any of this insanity coming out of France sounds familiar, you may recall my extensive coverage of Jonathan, aka Wax My Balls or Elf, Jessica Yaniv, who took it upon himself to try to sue a bunch of beauty salons here in British Columbia. He was using Canadian law to try to force them to essentially touch his genitals. The guy was completely unhinged. You may recall when I went and got assaulted by him and his mom when I was trying to cover his tribunal hearings. Well, just when you thought things couldn't get crazier with Jessica Yaniv and his whole grift using the Canadian courts here, he ended up taking it a step further back then, and instead of just going after beauty salons, he actually did something similar and went against the gynecologists. Wax My Balls or Else, Jessica Yaniv claims discrimination against a gynecologist for refusal. And as if that wasn't crazy enough, guys, the College of Physicians and Surgeons of British Columbia agreed with him when he said, "The refusal that I've received is discrimination under the BC Human Rights Code and against their code of ethics." Well, guys, fast forward 5 years, and France is now dealing with a very similar situation as we see here. This French gynecologist was just punished with a 1-month suspension for turning a trans patient away, despite the fact that France has a dire shortage of right now of gynecologists who are available to treat women. So this is absolutely insane, guys, and we're going to cover this and much more in this video. But really quickly, before we do, I just say check me out here at pressfortruth.ca/donate. If you appreciate my efforts to bring you this info, here you can do a one-time donation with PayPal. You can contribute Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. You could sign up here or here for a monthly recurring contribution. You can send an e-transfer to dan@pressfortruth.ca, or you can send stuff to my P.O. box, guys. Links for everything is located in the description below. Thank you so much to everybody who takes 1 minute today to support my efforts to bring you this important information here at Press for Truth. All right, guys, remember back in 2019 when I went to cover this guy's human rights tribunal case and I was assaulted by him and his mother? Check this out.
Get out. This is a secure area. Get out. Get out.
This is a public space.
No, it's not. Get out.
Yeah, it is.
Get out or I will pepper spray you.
Excuse
Get
me?
out.
No, don't touch me, man. Don't touch me.
Get out.
Boom.
Get out.
Mom hits me there.
Out you go.
Swats my
She
phone.
just pulled the fire alarm. I did. I am on the phone.
Guy pulls a fire alarm.
Get in here. Get in.
He called 911. He threatened to pepper spray me. He pulled the fire alarm, essentially all because I introduced myself as being Dan from Press for Truth. So absolutely insane. And like I said, just when we thought he couldn't be any crazier, the guy goes from, claiming discrimination against beauty salons to claiming discrimination against gynecologists for refusal. And as I said earlier, as if that wasn't crazy enough, the College of Physicians and Surgeons of British Columbia agreed with this guy when he said that it was a case of discrimination going against the, Human Rights Code of Ethics. Well, here we have this similar situation panning out in France. A French doctor serving as a gynecologist in the city of Pau has now been sanctioned for declaring himself incompetent to treat a man who had transitioned to a woman, which triggered the rage of LGBT associations. First of all, this whole sentence right here, a man who had transitioned to a woman, should not even be, in the English language. That's not a thing. A man cannot just decide to magically turn himself from a man or a woman or vice versa. And, I remember about a decade and a half ago when the LGBT community started adding, letters to their acronyms there, and I warned that this is a very, very, very slippery slope that is going to lead to absolutely insanely troubling things, guys. Well, I mean, here we are. Now people are openly in the news saying sentences like a man who transitioned to a woman, when obviously that's That's not a thing. That's not possible. That's like, ridiculous fantasy world stuff. This case dates back to August 23. But the doctor, Victor Akarian, has only been sanctioned now by the Order of Physicians with a 1-month ban on practicing medicine. In total, Dr. Akarian was given a 6-month ban on practicing medicine, but 5 of the 6 months are a suspended sentence. If he is to violate this sentence, the gynecologist would be suspended for the full 6 months. So here's what him and his secretary had to deal with here. This is his secretary speaking to a local newspaper. The lady explained to me that she was in transition, the secretary of the doctor's office told this newspaper. And obviously she's being very PC here by calling this person a lady and referring to them as a she. Just trying to be politically correct here to this particular newspaper. So she says, I immediately notified the doctor by internal messaging, and he replied, I don't deal with that. There are specialists in Bordeaux or Tallahassee. A message that I forwarded to them. But they became very aggressive and called me transphobic. So here, the secretary relayed the message saying, he said he doesn't deal with that and that there are specialists you can see in these other towns. And they call that transphobic? Like, what is transphobic about that? It's not like they're sitting here saying we're afraid of you. They're just, suggesting that we don't have the skills. He literally says he's incompetent to deal with this. I just had something similar myself. I'm having a problem with one of my wisdom teeth. It's got to come out. I have a wisdom tooth that has to be removed. I recently went to a dentist, and they said they're going to have to refer me to an oral surgeon, unfortunately. And I was like, well, what's the difference between a dentist and an oral surgeon? And they're like, about 4 years of schooling. They have, it's your case is unique, and it's going to require some specialized, special practice. And am I going to sit there and play the victim and be like, no, I want you to do the work, even though you're telling me you're incompetent, and there are, special people out there who deal with that sort of thing. Would I just play the victim and all of a sudden be like, you've hurt my feelings. You're afraid of me. This is an attack on me. No, if I was actually, looking to get my teeth fixed, I would just go to the specialist who I've been recommended to. But that's not what these people are interested in. These are like, activists who have an agenda. And I'm very happy to expose that. The trans person was dismissed from the office with the doctor reportedly saying that he only treats real women. And rightly so. It's a gynecology office. The couple with the trans women then left a bad review for the doctor, and they claimed that he responded offensively to their review by saying, I have no skills in treating men, even if they've shaved their beards and come to tell my secretary that they've become a woman. And honestly, I think, saying even if they shave their beards is really a much more friendly way of saying, even if they've chopped their balls off and want me and my secretary to imagine that it's a vagina. But he's, not being quite as crass, and he's saying it a little more nicely, saying even if they've shaved their beards. But this was enough to piss these people off. They went to various NGOs, activist groups. They went to the public with this case to file a complaint with medical authorities. And the trans women, which there's no such thing as, it's just men, also contacted the Order of Physicians. And on December 16th, 2024, the first instance of a regional council of the Order of Physicians in Bordeaux sentenced the man to a 6-month suspension. We are satisfied to have confirmation that what happened that day was totally abnormal. The trans women's lawyer told this French newspaper, yeah, you don't say. Everything about it is completely abnormal. And in fact, what you're trying to do is normalize the totally abnormal at the expense of this man's career. Dr. Akarian stated he saw 50 patients that day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and regretted that his response to the derogatory opinion could have hurt someone. He says, that's not my intention here. I'm not transphobic and I'm not homophobic. I have helped many of my homosexual patients to have a child. I could have received this person, made them pay for the €80 consultation just to tell them that I'm totally incompetent. Is that what they wanted? You know, these people are on hormone treatments prescribed by specialized services. So I leave it to them to control them. And I think this is a very reasonable response here. You know, it's just like in my case with the dentist, you know, he's saying like, what was I supposed to do? Take their money only to tell them I'm not skilled here. I'm incompetent. So now you're going to have to go see them. He saved them that money and just told them flat out, you're going to have to go see somebody else. But in this snowflake crazy world where everybody's offended by everything, these transgender activists decided to use this opportunity to play the victim and to actually now go after this guy. And it's absolutely insane. He may be suspended now for 6 months. Now, in the case of Wax My Balls or Else Jessica Yaniv, I'm pleased to say that he actually lost all of his tribunal cases. He kept trying to sue different organizations, and in fact, a judge ended up making him pay $6,000, in fact, for wasting everybody's time. And since then, he's pretty much just disappeared back into the back corner of the internet, and it's a good thing. So we've seen a good outcome come from this nonsense, insane grift. So it gives me a little bit of hope that maybe we'll see similar things come of this here in France, but that remains to be seen. This is happening right now. So just wanted to bring this one to your attention. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'll continue to update you as this develops, but hopefully we see a similar thing that we saw with Jessica Wax My Balls or Else Yaniv, who also attempted to claim a case of discrimination against a gynecologist for refusing him. But again, like I said, a judge eventually threw all of this out and ended up charging him. So maybe we'll see the same thing in France, hopefully. Anyways, guys, just wanted to bring that to your attention. Once again, if you do appreciate my efforts to do so, please check me out here at pressfortruth.ca/donate. You can click that top link in the description below on whatever video platform you happen to be watching this video on, whether it's Rumble or BitChute or Minds or Band or Odyssey or any of the other channels that I'm on. Click that top link in the description below. And that's all for today, guys. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Please click the thumbs up button, share this video, and stay tuned, guys. We're going to have more video reports coming soon. This is Dan Dicks reporting for Press for Truth. We all want truth. The truth will set you free.